yeah, we've got great help, and it's very much a rewarding process. I think most people in nuclear have a very different background. I mean, last year I remember during the panel at nuclear Texas Nuclear Summit, one of the panelists asked on stage, "How many of you thought about working in nuclear when you're in high school or in college?" Like the entire room of like I don't know, 400 people, or only a couple raised their hand, and everybody we talked to, they really have like a variety different backgrounds. So it's surprisingly a very inclusive and welcoming environment that we really hope that more people can understand and be part of it.
Just because the facts are A, if the narrative is B and everyone believes the narrative, then B is what matters. But it's our job in our industry to speak up proudly, soberly, and to engage people in this dialogue. Those 2.5 billion people that are in energy poverty, they need us.
America cannot meet this threat alone.
If there is a single country,
of course, the world cannot meet it without America.
that is willing to
We're going to need you, the next generation, to finish the
overhaul
job.
nuclear regulation
We need scientists to design new
and
fuels.
focus on net public
We need
benefit
engineers to invent new technologies. We
over absurd levels of radiation
need
production,
entrepreneurs to sell those
then
technologies.
we will march towards this.
We need workers to operate assembly lines that hum with high-tech,
We
zero-carbon
have
components.
unlimited prosperity for all humans.
We need diplomats and businessmen and women and Peace Corps volunteers to help developing nations skip past the dirty phase of development and transition to sustainable sources of energy. In other words, we need you.
Welcome to another episode of the Fire to Fission podcast, where we talk about energy-dense fuels and how they can better human lives. My name is Mark Hinaman, and today I'm joined by Steven Zhang. Steven's a political science student at Columbia University, but also helped co-found the second chapter of Nuclear is Clean Energy Club, the NICE Club, right? Is it NICE
Yeah.
Club or just NICE, or what? How do you guys
We
describe
we
this?
call ourselves just like nice Columbia.
Just
Yeah.
NICE.
Yeah.
NICE Columbia. Sweet. Steven, I'm stoked to get to talk to you today.
I'm very excited to be talking to you as well.
Yeah. You just reminded me that we met last year at the Texas Nuclear Alliance's inaugural annual meeting, right? Or
Yeah,
summit, Texas
Yeah.
Nuclear Summit. So
That was
Um,
great.
yeah, it was great. So Steven, give us a little bit of background on yourself before we jump into NICE and kind of all the things that you guys are doing. So you're a student at Columbia. What else? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, basically I started Columbia as a political science major. I initially I knew that I want to do something energy transition. So the route I had envisioned for myself was law school, because energy transition is very much policy heavy, and I want to do something like on that side. So with the congressional internship and Columbia Law School like research assistant, but then by a very serendipitous encounter with other people at a Nuclear New York event, we sort of just, why don't we just start a nuclear club? And yeah, with the help of our friend Charlie, who connected us to Ryan Pickering, we managed to do it. And the club right now is very much vibrant. We have grown a lot over just less than 1 year. So yeah, I'm happy to do a little bit more introduction of myself. I'm now focusing more on the financing side of nuclear, and my previous experiences also on commodity side. It's kind of random, but I do see a huge confluence in these spaces. I'm happy to delve deeper
Yeah.
there.
No, we've got a lot to talk about. I'm excited. Before we get into anything else, for those that are watching this on video, I have to ask, what is this background? Is this a fake background? Are you actually in this room? You've got this beautiful room behind you with a spiral staircase and
Yeah, so it's like a resident lounge in my
Nice.
apartment building.
It's amazing. I'm jealous. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was really happy to stay here.
For those just listening, yeah, it's got a spiral staircase, like patio, balcony, beautiful, like twinkly lights, portal windows. It looks like an awesome place to hang out. I'm jealous.
Oh no,
Very
you're more than welcome to hang out
cosmopolitan.
here. Yeah. You're more than welcome to hang out here whenever you're in New York.
Okay, so your background was commodities. What do you mean by that? So like you're a student. Are you doing your bachelor's in political science at Columbia then?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
and you
a
were
grad
studying
student.
commodities first, like before
I sort
studying
of
more about
fell
nuclear?
I sort of fell into commodities. I was just catching up with friends last Christmas, during Christmas. And it just so happens that one is a buyer for gold bullion and the other seller. And I'm like, why don't I just like start a conversation? So it's like a very niche part of commodities trading. It's like physical commodities trading and not even on the trading floors. But yeah.
Like people at a pawn shop, like let me sell you my gold watch.
um, yeah, just like gold bullion, like
Okay.
if I have to say, like gold bar.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to ask is like, how much gold do you have? That's
Uh,
that's
I
funny.
don't have anything.
Yeah, like I have
But
no gold. Do you have a favorite commodity to study and think about?
right now it's very much like uranium and a lot of critical minerals,
Okay.
naturally.
How come?
Well, uranium is a form of commodities, and
Yeah.
yeah, and uranium pricing is very interesting because it's not like traded on the public market. It's all done privately. Following that, and at the same time, critical minerals, including rare earth, they're powering all of the innovations in basically all of the tech spaces that we care about. And yeah, following that as well. And I have friends who develop like a really thorough map of commodities, well, like minerals reserve in some places in the world, and yeah, they're helping developing that.
When you say that uranium is not like traded on a public exchange, what does that mean? Like these are all private contracts, like business to business, and
Yeah,
how do we know? Like, I mean, there's a posted price, like dollar per pound of uranium. How do we then know that, like, what the current trading price is? Are these published somewhere? Then on,
yeah,
do you
you
know?
can. Yeah, so with the Canadian, I typically just go on the Canadian uranium trader, like the Camco one, and they update that.
So
Yeah,
like Cameco, one of the largest private companies in the world, then yeah, publishing their data. How much did they just recently sell uranium for? Okay,
yeah.
that would make sense. Yeah, that they make that available publicly for their customers. So I didn't know that. Okay, so tell me about Nice, Columbia.
Yes, very much a passion project at the start, which means all of our founding board members are incredibly driven. Much of what we've done in the past year are just entirely contributed through their efforts. Well, Nice Columbia is a club at Columbia. We recruit from all schools at Columbia, so it's a very much like inter-school collaborative effort, and basically we empower like any students who are interested or already in nuclear space to be the next generation leaders in this space.
Nice, literally nice, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
How often do you guys meet? What kind of events do you put on? Give me some color. Yeah.
Yeah, no, very good question. So we meet like bi-weekly, but our board meetings are every week. Events we put on, we hosted this really interesting nuclear fuel cycle event with Jean-Paul Pelaire from Orano and the nuclear development person from Orano, who apparently, from the news recently, they just got licensed to enrich helium which is to up to like 10%. So I guess all the SMR companies will like they have been waiting for that, and
Yeah.
that was actually a very contentious point during the panel that we hosted. That there wasn't any sort of clear guidelines or regulations, and that definitely posed like a risk factor for anyone who are investing in this or looking at it. So I'm glad over the past year everything has been happening super fast.
Yeah. So you guys meet bi-weekly. Is that 2 times a week or is that every other week?
Every other week.
Okay. Nice. And it's like educational events. You get speakers in. Like what?
Yeah, yeah. So mostly have been panel forums. We also
Okay,
co-hosted with CGEP, so Columbia's Center for Global Energy Policy, which is a leading think tank in energy policy. And we hosted that Women in Energy event at Accenture actually. And other than that, we co-sponsored the NEI's after party for the financing summit they hosted, I think, in February. This past Climate Week, we just hosted this massive nuclear symposium with Nuclear New York, and our sponsors are incredible from like everybody from nuclear, including Nano, Anthropocene, like you name it. Um,
nice.
nice.
I'm gonna keep saying nice. Yeah. Interview. That's cool, man. How do you guys pick speakers if somebody's listening and they like want to be a speaker, or if they want to reach out or like try to offer up speakers? What's that process look like?
Yeah, it's very much theme based.
Okay.
So with like or topic based, we pick out speakers who are professionals like years deep in the space and forming these connections between universities, students, and professionals to basically fast track them and updating them everything that what they're doing. Because my belief that like the best form of learning is always in practice. And right now, like a lot of our members are actually working in nuclear space. So one of our members, Sander Miller, is actually taking a gap semester and working full time at Valor. And another member, Richard Feldman, he interned at Decisive Point, which is a venture capital firm investing in nuclear energy. Actually, one of their portfolio companies is Standard Nuclear, and now he's like their financing intern. I can like even talk about like more people like with Hunter Dare and like yeah, everyone's doing incredible work. And like I said, everything happened within like the last not even a year.
So it sounds like if you want to get a job in nuclear and you're at Columbia, then you join the nice club at nice Columbia, and then the people are like, yeah, you should go talk to these guys.
That seemed like a continuous theme, yes.
Is that unique to just the nice club, or how does New York view the energy industry? Like the city more broadly, what are the vibes in New York City about energy and nuclear energy?
I think we have to broaden a little bit to like New York State.
Sure. Well,
New
I don't
York,
know. The city's very different from the rest of the state.
yeah. So the city, you can't like build a power plant in the city. Like the cost would be just insane. Like everybody kills for a piece of real estate in New York. But on campus, I think a lot of students that were really taking an educated perspective on nuclear in the sense that, our first contact with nuclear is like rather negative but like, through like the education effort, we have to recognize all of the benefits that nuclear has been bringing to us, and we're continuing discovering new ways that nuclear is doing, including isotopes in medical treatments and diagnosis. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So broaden it beyond. I mean, it's funny you said it like, can't build a nuclear power plant in New York, but you can shut one down from New York, as is evidenced by like Indian Point, right?
Yeah, well, that happened, but
That
upstate there.
happened. We're working past that.
Yes.
Like that wasn't my choice.
I mean, there's similar things with a lot of power plants that are shut down, right? I mean, if you look at Germany, they even went like I have to bring them up like they went extreme from the PTSDs of World War II. But the good thing is that I think 18% of the United States energy is still powered by nuclear power plants. So we have like pretty decent amount of operators and
Yeah.
people that are working in there. Yeah. New York State specifically, we actually got Doreen Harris from NYSERDA to deliver a keynote speech. And the governor, Hochul, she announced this like nuclear like plant
Oh yeah. That was
plan.
kind of
And
controversial. They're like, she's like, we're gonna do it.
I mean, it's
I
it's
liked
also
it.
just yeah, it's just also taking a very like practical approach to energy, right? Like we're not talking about exclusively nuclear or exclusively wind or solar or any other form, coal, like oil and gas. It's very much the energy mix that we're looking for, and every form of energy has their own advantages. with nuclear, I mean, I had to repeat all of the benefits, but so far it's powering a lot of it's been powered by a lot of the data center booms and the AI development. But at the same
Totally.
time, very much with small modular reactors and micro modular reactors, you can extend that to a lot of places that are not able to deploy wind or solar, but needs energy. They're very like energy insecure. I think CJAP published a report saying that like 35% of like US is still experiencing that. So whether that's from, hyperscaler perspective or just grid perspective or energy security perspective, yeah, there are every right reason to have nuclear.
Are you from New York, or did you move there for school?
Yeah, I actually moved here from school. Before New York, I was in California, and my family's kind of everywhere. Mainland China, Hong Kong, Auckland, New Zealand, Singapore.
Nice, worldly. I like those places. Auckland's pretty cool. Yeah. Um,
Well, it's very windy, and one of the reasons New Zealand is very anti-nuclear because they don't need it.
yeah. Um, I think nuclear in New Zealand would be awesome. It'd be perfect. It
I
doesn't take
couldn't
up much
agree
land
more.
mass. Yeah, right. That'd be spot on. Cool. Okay, so you mentioned started focused on studying commodities, but more interested in finance.
So
How come? Talk to me about that.
yeah, so actually like commodities sort of just happened like right in the middle of my nuclear journey. I got in touch with more venture capital investors and more like bigger infrastructure investors who have been very active in investing in nuclear space and like with what we see in the past like 2 to 3 years. And especially with all of the investors investing in AI and data centers, and their attitude to investing in nuclear has shifted drastically. And yes, I got in touch with that side and project financing, and yeah, how to finance a nuclear power plant. That's all I'm doing right now.
How do you do it? Uh,
With a
walk,
with a
walk us through it, Steve.
A lot goes there. Yes, very good question. The one I'm trying to figure out is like traditional like nuclear power plants, and I'm looking at like Apollo. They invested 4.5 billion into the like half built plant in England. I think it's called Hinkley Point,
Hmm. Yeah.
and um from a GP at a VC. I have no way of verifying that, but apparently BlackRock is very much on top of that in the sense that they want to provide 75% of the construction cost of nuclear power plant from the private side as like a convertible debt, so that like that's just like huge commitment for a traditional firm to go drastically forward on that. Um, and
Apollo
with
was
me,
6 billion US, 4.5 billion pounds
yeah,
in Hinkley Point C's. Yeah.
yeah. And for me, I sort of fortunate enough to have a lot of friends already in finance. And through developing those relationships, I just realized that like there's a massive gap between private investments. And I'm not talking about traditional infrastructure funds. I'm talking about like family offices. And I've actually been kind of brainwashing all of the family offices that I know. One of them, quite a few of them got on board. Uh,
Not brainwashing, but showing them the light, right? Yeah. Hey guys, this is a good opportunity. Consider investing. Good, stable, long-term cash flows.
well, exactly. With them, it's just giving them enough reasons for them to take a look at it and actually take it seriously as an asset. Because traditionally, like, how can a family office like, invest in a nuclear power plant, right? Like, there's no way for that, and utilities would not even look at family offices for that.
Why? So why not? I guess what do you mean by like there's no way that a family office could invest?
Well, traditionally, like they're just not looking at it for quite a few reasons. Nuclear power plants like very capital intensive. It's probably going to rule out like 80% of the family offices on the planet.
Like
And
minimum investment threshold. It's not like if you've got like, 50 grand sitting around or $1 million sitting around that they'd be like, yeah, sure, throw it in, like do this VC venture round, no problem. Like minimum
yeah,
investments, like it has $1 billion associated with it, right?
yeah, it always starts with a B. But interestingly, Deloitte, closer to the end of last year, they published a report saying that family office space they would grow by like 75% from by like 2030, and that's compared to like 2019. That even more drastic numbers. There's this another report coming from, I think it's Cerulli Associates, if I'm not mistaken, that by 2048 we have up to $124 trillion of wealth transfer to millenniums and Gen X, who are younger. From what we observe is that they often are taking a more aggressive approach in investing and more open-minded. And on top of that, apparently 15% of the family offices will be run by women. And combining those two factors, you can really see that value-based investments and more aggressive approach is just going to be the theme that will happen. So how to unlock that capital is very much what I'm trying to do, and giving them the opportunity to invest. Because with family offices, typically there are like two types that would invest in like a nuclear power plant. One would be if they're younger, if they're more aggressive, they already invested data centers and AI, which is 85% of family offices actually, from a report done by Goldman Sachs. But especially with data, like family offices already invested in AI infrastructure, like data centers. They are definitely like welcoming the idea of like nuclear power plant, because that's all the hyperscalers want. And as an investor, they have to like care about it. Another type of family, which is even more interesting and can meaningfully contribute to these kind of like massive, like $20 billion projects, are actually heritage families. So they're like Indian family offices that are like 10 generations old, and what they care about, their mandate is very much different from, let's say, a family office that's second gen or third gen, who care about liquidity, investing in secondary markets. So with heritage families, they very much care, like they really take a long-term view, because their mandates are just, their mandates extend more than just liquidity, and they want generational benefits, and they will see that. And for OECD investors in nuclear and in the States, they even want to test the waters in the States and be the family that brings advanced nuclear reactors to their country. So it's like a
Bit
lot
of
of like
ego
mixed
tied to that then,
reasons.
right? Like,
Very much
yeah.
so. I mean, we're talking
We
about
can we
family
can
office.
we can build a building at a university, or we can build a nuclear power plant and bring it to be the first one built in Arkansas or whatever, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. So like with them, they're the capital that they can unlock through like the single family office. It's like $1 billion level. They can actually comfortably write that check. And most of them have already done some investments in infrastructure, so they're not like super unfamiliar with the landscape. And paired up with all of the crazy demands with AI, I think more and more people are taking a look at it. But how do you tap into it, right? And I see that my position, I'm like very like well positioned to bridge that gap, to help them invest in nuclear in the States and around the globe as well.
Cool. So $1 billion family office, that's awesome. The
They
more
can
of more of
actually,
those floating around than you would think, actually.
yeah.
Like there's
They'd
Forbes
like,
list of richest people in the world, and like over 1,000 or I don't know, 2,000 billionaires or something like that. Like not just those people, but family offices that, it's shared between a number of folks. There's quite a few.
yeah. They're already investing in other energy infrastructure forms like oil and gas, solar, and all of that. So to them, it really is just a way of portfolio management to
Yeah.
make sure that they complement each other. Yes. like I said, a lot of reasons for
What's the
different families.
smallest end? I mean, $1 billion is great, but like, what's the kind of smallest end size family office that you think might?
So in order to qualify for a family office, you have to be like at least $100 million. But like I said, to meaningfully contribute to a large infrastructure plan, like a traditional AP 1000 plan, I think it's just easier to tap into those networks and helping them navigate the space.
I see. What does that mean? Like, advise on, hey, this plant's going to be a good idea, but this plant's not, or consider talking to these technology guys, or like helping out with raising. I don't know what that looks
Oh
like.
yeah. Um, Really just like connecting them with all of the networks that I've been like me and Nice Club in general has been built for like the past year. We're very fortunate to have attended like that summit where I met you, and we have been developing relationships individually. So connecting them to those people and like nuclear consulting firms to really give them like a very overhead
Gotcha.
view. And
Like you've done a
yeah.
bunch of the homework ahead of time. What are they interested in? Hey, we can connect you. Let us help you out. Nice.
Yeah, yeah, and of course there are deal flows of project financing, that will go like, into the granular on a case-to-case basis.
So what are some of the financial hurdles that folks might face? Is it just ignorance and not being educated about um, investing in the space? I mean, it sounds like there's a minimum capital commitment required.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's not like the only like for investors they care about like risk adjusted returns, right? And for
Hmm.
for nuclear, there really is like three huge pillars. One is regulation, and one is supply chain management, and the other is labor market, like especially in the States. So with regulations with the current administration, and it has been really progressing a lot, and nuclear has been a bipartisan effort in energy like transition and development. So that layer is somewhat alleviated, although, permitting through NRC is still very much a big thing for everybody. But, once you get the license, like it's a huge booster for investor confidence and they'll be more comfortable. In addition to that, like power purchase agreements from hyperscalers and other stuff. But when it comes to supply chain, that is a very much a huge issue with the nuclear fuel. Currently, most are
Like
done
literally just
outside of
having enough
US.
nuclear fuel to power
Yeah.
these reactors, power as many reactors as we want to build.
Yeah. And that has been a huge issue. Canada, Russia, and Australia has really just been in the game for like a long time. But I see that recently there's a company, American Uranium. It's literally called American Uranium. They're actually advancing in their Wyoming training program, and it's starting like this, like October, so this month.
Nice.
And yeah, I see the effort, and everything's happening super fast. I'm really happy that that's happening.
Okay, so you say labor is one of those pillars or risks associated or hurdles to overcome. Is that like electricians or craft labor or like welders, like on-site construction? Is that is that what we're thinking about with labor, or is it something else?
Well, from two sides, both the supply of like brilliant minds, which was what we're trying to do as a club to supply all of the brilliant minds at Columbia into nuclear, and at the same time, yes, very much the construction side. We do lack trained labor here in the States, and oftentimes it does contribute to like an overhaul in construction timeline. Well, in addition to a lot of financing problems.
Nice. Okay. I it's weird. There's a guy just down the hall from me that like is in venture capital and they are investing in a bunch of AI companies. And he's got kind of a cynical, pessimistic view of the world. But he's like, I'm planning it right now. My daughter, she's like 3 or 4 or whatever years old. She's not gonna have a job. She's not gonna be able to find a job when she graduates, and never gonna have a job because AI is taking all the jobs. And I'm like, okay. I mean, like, are you sure? But nuclear needs a lot of jobs. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Yeah, I think in upstate New York alone, like operating those power plants, we created like 4,000 jobs, let
Yeah.
alone with constructions like timelines, it's always project to project. So hiring those skilled laborers on the construction that's going to last like for like around 10 years, that's going to be huge in helping with employment rate and really training that. I do see the effort, for example, like Apple announced their Apple uh, Academy, I think, in the States, and they invested in total of $6 billion in the States. So yes, they care about it. They very much want this to happen. With developing labor market, there's like a lot of challenges to go through. But with the nuclear symposium we hosted, we did have a panel on workforce development. So definitely tune into that.
Okay. Um, Here's a little bit. What role do you see for policy in de-risking some of these investments in scaling nuclear energy as a solution?
Yeah, no, of course. I think the consensus is definitely that the risk factors involved in nuclear construction really does hugely lie within NRC permitting and DOE loan program office. But this year, I think they really drastically improved the timeline. Although with the voracious energy demand we have now, we're still very behind on supplying that energy.
So policy decisions to try and accelerate energy development and new energy construction, new electricity construction.
Yes, yes, that in addition to that, like DOE plays very important role in that. Their loan program office does offer strategic capital for all of the nuclear power plants, and I think there are like three pending bills that are related to energy. We'll have to see what it's going to be like, but it has always been a bipartisan effort in pushing nuclears. So I'm very, very optimistic on that side.
Awesome. How did you get linked up with Nice Berkeley? Because the Columbia chapter is the second chapter, right after
Yes,
Berkeley.
so
So who
yeah,
were you engaged with? How did you get the idea to like bring a chapter to Columbia? East Coast or West Coast, East Coast?
yeah. Well, it's bi-coastal as usual. No, we actually met through the Nuclear New York, the nonprofit event that hosted. We actually got connected to Ryan Pickering,
Love that.
who's the OG.
Yeah, you'd never
Um,
know. Yeah, I mean, he's just like, oh yeah, I go to this club. You founded it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, we love the idea, and we think that it's so imperative to have that in Colombia, whether that because like we're in New York and we're in Ivy, right? Like we have to really, really be at the forefront of this nuclear wave. And yeah, through Ryan, who is currently working for Oppenheimer Energy, we got to know Charles Oppenheimer. And actually, one of our board members actually working with Charles as a head of finance. Well, that guy is Hunter Dare, and he has been in nuclear for a long. Sorry, he has been in finance his entire life, and we also have the consulting arm powered by Malcolm Biggins. Also, one of our founding board members. He was in Deloitte for like 5 years, really helping his clients unlocking government grants. We have invested in, we have like done several consulting projects with the different nuclear startups. And on the policy side, we have Andre Hissenet. He's mainly the person who lead the group of students interested in policy and law and like energy transition and nuclear in general. And they draft the letters to Governor Hochul. They draft a lot of different responses to all of the government requests. So yeah, we have been doing a lot of that. And most recently, we have been pushing for a nuclear program at Columbia, which is very interesting because,
And that'd be
it's
nuclear engineering or like other nuclear, like Because there could be
Yeah.
like nuclear development, nuclear financing, like nuclear advocacy, like political science associated with nuclear, like more than just
So
engineering stuff.
so we yes, so we think that it'll primarily be like most feasible options would be nuclear engineering. I mean, we already have a plasma lab, but that's on fusion and not fission. In addition to that, with the climate school, climate policy and strategic advisory, I think those are incredibly valuable. Columbia Engineering actually announced another fusion program. So last year, so we're very excited to push beyond that.
Sweet. I don't think we mentioned this. What's NICE's mission?
As the mission, we really want to serve as a supportive and welcoming hub for like learners, like students, or just people who care, like who wants to learn more, and experts who wants to engage with the next generation and foster an understanding of nuclear technology as a vital and clean energy source. Our mission's just trying to like secure nuclear energy's role in a future carbon-free mix, like energy mix, by empowering our club members to really work like individually and in teams to really like meaningfully contribute to the goals we set at Columbia and beyond. That's
Awesome.
sort of an overview of what we do.
I love it. Love that tidbit. Cool, man. I think we've covered a bunch of our questions, but what advice would you offer to other students who are passionate about, I guess, nuclear or another specific energy solution? And if they're trying to do something similar in their community or at their school, what advice do you have for folks?
Contact us. We will.
Talk to us. Come talk to us. We'll help you out.
Yes, yeah, we love any like nuclear heads. We love everything we do. Part of the reason we're able to push so much of events with extremely high like positioning C-level people at all of these nuclear firms, and nuclear companies and investment firms, like head of global infrastructure at UBS, or Alan Aldo at Guggenheim Securities, who did the SPAC on Oklo, and a lot of other venture capital firms like Steel Atlas and Decisive Point. Yeah, we've got great help, and it's very much a rewarding process. I think most people in nuclear have a very different background. I mean, last year I remember during the panel at nuclear Texas Nuclear Summit, one person, one of the panelists asked on stage, "How many of you thought about working in nuclear when you're in high school or in college?" Right? Like the entire room of like I don't know, 400 people, there are only a couple raised their hand, and everybody we talk to, they really have like a vastly a variety different backgrounds. So it's surprisingly a very inclusive and welcoming environment that we really hope that more people can understand and be part of it.
It's pretty cool. Like the whole world's evolving and lots more people getting involved. Cool. Stephen, leave us on some closing thoughts. Where do you see this all going? How do you see NICE evolving? Tell me about how we're going to build more nuclear in the US and kind of throughout the world.
We definitely need, for me, public-private partnership is most of like for the most. Both sectors really need to find ways to meaningfully contribute. From the public side, Loan Program Office, very much helpful. Initiatives on accelerating nuclear permitting, very helpful. Initiatives to build workforce in the states, very important. On the private side, investors educating themselves and going into nuclear, they really have to have an open mind. It's something that sounds daunting to most investors. That's why I think that from the commodities side, everything commodities is all about like risk management. It's basically the part of commodities job. So I do see like trying to have interactions between the commodity side of my network to the nuclear side of the network and facilitate the conversation on how to mitigate the risks in nuclear financing. Yeah, that's that. I think that's pretty much it. Because my thought definitely derived from a report by the Carlyle Group back in 2014 that no nuclear power plant is going to happen unless there's a strong incentive. There's a strong public-private partnership. And we see that happening now. The investment space has been booming. The demand is crazy and everyone's super passionate. So yeah, that's my clothing saw.
Steven Zhang, thanks so much for the time. It's been great to chat to you.
I'm really happy to catch up with you as well.
Yeah.